What is the dumbest idea you have ever had that actually worked? So it was my mom's birthday, we're barbecuing and we got her to stay inside and prep food so we can decorate the front with balloons and streamers and what have you. Well, we got the whole thing done in secret as hoped, but then we realized there was no way we could get all the leftover decoration material and balloon pump inside without her noticing. Now there are two ways into our house, the back door that leads into the garage and then into the kitchen where Mom was, and the front door which is visible from the kitchen sink. So, I told my brother I would go in from the back door and distract her while he brought the stuff in through the front, and down the hall past the kitchen. Once I got in the kitchen it had occurred to me that I had no plan of attack, so I legit just said, "Hey Mom, look at this dance I made," and started like swaying and bopping up and down and doing jazz hands and going la 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 la. Mind you, I'm like 17 years old in this scenario. So she's just watching me, and when bro comes in and is sneaking through the hall behind her with all the stuff, I keep telling her, "Wait, it's about to get good," and she kept watching in confusion. The second he was in the clear, I stopped and said, "Okay, that's it," and that was that. We succeeded. Edit, wow. Thanks for the gold, it's my first award, smiley face. In my freshman year of college, my grades were really not great. And my parents were really strict about getting good grades. When my dad asked to see my grades, I panicked and did the inspect command on the computer where you can change typefaces on the screen to read different words and letters. I changed all of my shitty grades to good grades. My dad was so happy that I did good my first year of school. He asked me to print my results. I did, and turns out he had to send them to our car insurance company for a good student discount. Ultimately, I committed insurance fraud by accident. But I got the discount. Life hack: commit insurance fraud. When I was like 7 years old, I was playing in my back garden with those incredibly bouncy little balls you got, just bouncing them high off the house and letting them bounce randomly before trying to catch them, as you did. One time I went for this huge throw off the wall and it bounced crazily off various surfaces so fast I completely lost track of it. So my 7-year-old logic was to stand back in the same place and throw another ball the same way. I watched it bounce this way and that about 10 times before finally hitting a plant and coming to a rest in a flower bed. I went over to pull back the foliage and sure enough there were both balls literally lying touching each other in the mud. At the time I was like, yep, makes sense, but over the years since then I've often thought about it and how the hell it worked. When I was younger I got called into HR because I drew a very detailed picture of a penis. It was really good. The HR meeting happened like a week after I drew it and my only defense was, "I don't recall doing that, do you happen to have the picture? It might jog my memory." They didn't have it, of course, because I had it, and because I didn't confess they couldn't do shit. Investigation results inconclusive, have a nice day. But do you still have it? No, but I can give more detail. It was wearing a Santa cap and the jizz was his beard. It was around Christmas time. A storm broke a limb on a tree hanging over my house in my backyard, but it was still hanging on by a few splinters. I didn't want it to fall, and it wasn't in a place where I could use my ladder to get to it. So I found some rope, tied a brick to it, threw the brick and rope over the limb, made a crude rope swing, and swung and pulled at the branch until it finished breaking. It wasn't until I was using the chainsaw to cut it up that I realized how many times during my stupid idea I could have easily hurt or even killed myself. It's funny when the part of the plan that involves a chainsaw ends up being the least dangerous. In college I was taking a class that required me to purchase an online textbook and workbook that was registered under your name, basically ensuring that each student would have to buy a new online copy each semester instead of buying used textbooks. I had a friend who took this class a semester before me, so we came up with the idea to message customer service and explain that I had recently gotten married, so my last name had changed, and I legally changed my first name from my friend's first name to my first name and I would need them to change it in their system. It totally worked and the rep even congratulated me on my marriage. I think it's nearly criminal to enforce students to buy new books instead of used ones. Especially when it's the professor's own textbook. I've never had a prof who wrote the textbook, but for one class another prof had written the textbook. First day of class the writing prof showed up and passed around a flash drive with his book on it. A good chunk of my professors teach using the books they wrote or are in the process of writing. They never even suggested buying it, they either send us a PDF by mail or tell us to buy a copy from the photocopy store nearby that has a discount for students. They stock thousands of printed out textbooks for like €2 for the thickest ones. And this is all official and normal and encouraged. They even have pirated scanned copies of foreign books on the official fucking uni domain and sometimes joke about it being illegal in class. I love our Slavic practicality. Edit, just so you guys know, I used euros just for reference. We're not even in the EU. More accurate would be to say 200 to 300 Serbian dinars.